the first Face Hunter, you know what I do? I just Alt F4 while my rope is going. That's all I do.
So, uh-oh.
He just
my
concedes,
God.
so he's not even gonna bother. Firebat has better things to do with his time than to go up with Freeze Mage 90% loss rate versus Warrior. So, I mean, if the rules of the tournament allow for a concede to be happening, I know some tournaments or some leagues.
I actually think if the tournament allows it, then it's actually a very good strategy because you don't want to reveal what tech cards you have in the Freeze Mage.
Yeah, for future purposes, because you're going to keep your mage in a conquest format. You don't want to give the opponent the information that you've got. Maybe you're running Harrison Jones to be facing off against something like a rogue, right? You might have some specific cards that you're playing to deal with the opponent's lineup, so...
Yeah, the biggest tech choice I've seen in Freeze Mage is the Big Game Hunter. Yep. Some people play that Big Game Hunter just to snipe that Ragnaros, for example.
Yep.
And it's actually very effective in this format. But even though Firebat, he's down 0-1, I don't think he minds too much. I was talking to him at Gfinity, and he was saying that, okay, people are going to bring Warrior against me, but because it's Conquest, that's fine. I'll just take the free loss against Warrior, and my lineup of my 3 remaining decks is still going to be better than my opponent's lineup of 2 remaining decks.
Well, Firebat is very heavy in the whole counter-picking a specific deck. He just picks a specific deck that he knows his opponent's going to bring, and he builds a lineup around it. He did that against Sho, and he took the series. He went 0-2 in the first 2 games. You could tell from his face while he was playing that he didn't expect to win them. A lot of the plays seemed like he didn't really care. And then he ended up against the Control Warrior that he thought Sho would bring, and his lineup was perfectly tailored around it. So Frezzar gets the first game by forfeit. Firebat doesn't want to go through the motions, essentially, of Freeze Mage versus Warrior.
Yeah, and the second matchup, we're getting word from the admins that it's going to be Firebat bringing the Rogue versus Frezzar with the Druid.
Oh, that is not a terrible matchup for the Rogue. If it's a mid-range Druid on the slow side with a single combo, Firebat could be getting himself a really good matchup with this Rogue.
Yeah, on the other hand, Frezzar, he might, again, be tailoring his Druid against Rogues with Spectral Knights, with Lothab, with Harrison Jones. So
yeah,
it could really be anyone's game still at this moment.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of... I mean, and I'm kind of happy to see Harrison Jones show up in Druid. It used to be the case that nobody really ran it there. It wasn't really a card you considered as a tech. Even in the metagame where it was supported, you had too much stuff that you really cared to do to be proactive with, where you didn't even bother teching too much. So, pretty happy about that.
Look at that instant keep from the entire hand of Frezzar.
Yeah, you see Innervate, you see Wild Growth, you're good to go.
And you see a 4-drop, obviously.
Yeah. So...
only thing that could make this hand better would be... a
5-drop.
Yeah, or a Shade, perhaps.
A Shade, yeah, maybe.
If you Innervate out of Shade on turn 1, Wild Growth turn 2, Pilot Shredder on turn 3, I'd say that's a pretty good start, wouldn't you?
Although Firebat is gonna... Yeah, Firebat would be forced to get a Deadly Poison prep Blade Flurry very fast if you get the Shade.
Yeah, he has some parts of that sequence of cards.
Yeah.
At least he has the Deadly Poison and Blade Flurry. But I feel like he's probably not going to be keeping all those cards.
Well, I think you could keep Deadly Poison.
Yes.
If you expect Zombie Chows. Blade Flurry at this point in the game might be feeling a bit weird. But then again, you know, you auto lose to something like a Shade that gets innervated. So how much do you play around it is the question.
Yeah. I feel like the card that you're really looking for in this matchup is the Violent Teacher.
Yeah.
Because with Violent Teacher, it's like one way, if you play it on turn 4 or turn 3, for instance, and you do something like Prep Sap, that just almost instantly wins you the game, like 80% of the time.
Oh my god, Frezzar's Druid is stacked against something like a Mage, but there is no Mage. Firebat just... Well, there is a Mage, but it's going to be coming up later, the Freeze Mage.
Yeah,
and
it's
if
also...
he wins now...
It's also stacked against Face Hunter or just any hunters in general. So the decision to bring Kazan Mystic is actually really great in this Druid. It's going to be really good against 2 of the matchups, but unfortunately, this is not one of those 2 matchups that it's going to be really good against.
Yeah, this is going to be like a bad Yeti at this point. Oh, nice, a 2 health minion. That's got to be feeling pretty good. You don't have to eviscerate it. Just put out a 3/3 and force an answer from your opponent. And I'd have to say right now, Frezzar doesn't have an amazing one. Oh, never mind, Dr. 5.
Dr. 5, what are you talking about? This is a Dr. 4. Turn 4.
All right, Wild Growth. I forgot about the Wild Growth. See, I got misled by the Wild Growth again. Well, Dr. 4. Well, actually, he's got a perfect answer to that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is
Does he
very
even care?
fortuitous.
He doesn't care. He doesn't even care.
This is like pretty much the best situation, honestly, that you could hope to get into when you're facing a turn 3 Dr. Boom.
Yeah, in effect. Well,
Or turn 4 rather, right?
well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's turn 4.
Yeah, it's turn 4. The druid, but he didn't have the coin, so he couldn't get it out one turn earlier than that. But oh man. So Firebat's trying to figure out how he's gonna do this. Is he gonna just backstab Deadly Trade and leave the boom bots up, or is he gonna get a huge Blade Flurry on these guys?
Okay. There we go.
And the Blade Flurry comes out, he attacks with the SI7 and then wipes this board. Let's see where the boombots go. One to the face, one of the minion, and the minion lives.
Not bad. Not bad for Firebat at all.
Yeah.
At least the minion lives and there's only 1 damage to his opponent's face. I feel like a big reason for why Firebat decided to go for that line of play where he kind of sacrificed a lot of cards for it was because he knows he's going to be alright in terms of cards in the following turns. He has both the Azure Drake and the Sprint in his hand.
Yeah, but
so
this is a great top deck here, allowing him to weave in the Eviscerate without sacrificing the Drake to the Kazan Mystic.
Yeah, pretty much perfect.
Ancient of
now-
Lore would be a sick draw.
Yeah, and now Frezzar is just top decking for those Ancients of Lore. That's not it, but at least he gets some value out of the Keeper.
Yeah, 2 damage plus a hero power will take it to that 3/3, but if you look at the current board state, or the hand state rather, Firebat's got a good turn 6 with a Drake. It's not a perfect curve filler, but it's definitely not bad, and then a sprint on turn 7. The moment a prep is found, this hand's quality just improves drastically.
Drake comes down, and well, there it is, that prep that you were talking about.
This is going to be a really nice turn 7 for Firebat, going to get himself a 4-mana sprint.
Yeah, yet another good turn for Frezzar as well, though. Filling out his curve exactly with what he needs, and now he does have some pressure on the board.
Yeah, if he finds a combo, he could actually get a really solid an opening for lethal soon.
Lotheb is another option. If he draws a Lotheb in his following turn, then he might lock out his opponent.
Yep, that's also a very, very solid card. But Firebat has the Backstab, has the Fan of Knives, has the Prep, in fact. Oh wow, Backstab and SI together do quite a bit of work on this board.
Yeah, not only that, but the SI now contests the Piloted Shredder as well.
Yeah, if that Shredder had a bit more health, it wouldn't. And now Frezzar has no Wrath. There's no way for him to really handle this too well. Oh my goodness, he finds another Keeper of the Grove for that hero power play.
I mean, it's not the best, but I think he'll take it.
Yeah, it's a good one. The moment you find the combo, you got your Savage Roar at the ready. So you're still feeling pretty comfortable. And Firebat now needs to find a way to answer this board, because the moment minions stick on the board for the Druid, that's the... Oh my goodness, Firebat.
Well, that's a good one.
That's a great one. Gets a 4-attack weapon, kills a Shredder and probably Blade Flurries. He can kill anything, right? There's no 2-draw that has 5 health.
There's none, but you can maybe, let's see. Lore Walker Cho wouldn't even be that good because if you give your opponent a Blade Flurry, right?
Yeah, that would be great, though. I'd love to see that. But I think what he's considering is the prep Tinkers into Go Face or something like that. And I almost think it's a viable line of play. Like, because you get yourself a 7-attack weapon. Oh, but he doesn't have any more SIs. Oh, he's so close to really getting the...
Yeah, he doesn't have any more SIs, and he's already used one Eviscerate, so...
Yeah, I don't think he can do that. There's only like 1 out left in his deck.
Yeah, and he's already used, with this Blade Flurry, he's already used both Blade Flurries, so...
Exactly.
Not too much damage left.
Well, he does have the Tinkerers, and Druid is only on 12 health from having used... And that's the combo. Good thing he wiped this board. This would have been a lethal. Wow, 3 damage off lethal here for Frezzar. But if he plays a BGH... Just as a body here, I think he has to. You set up for potential lethal. Why would you not? You've seen 2 backstabs, 2 SIs. Oh, wow. Firebat is thinking to himself, I could have maybe won if I'd gotten that earlier, but... Actually, wait, this allows him to weave in pretty much everything he's got next turn. If Frezzar doesn't find lethal, and he can't find lethal, I think Firebat's taking this one. Not quite, but it's close.
So, Frezzar might have to play slightly more defensively now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you have to go for the taunt, Turtle Claw, and kill the Blood Mage. But you're so weak, it feels weak.
Yeah, you really want to kill that Blood Mage because you don't want to give your opponent a Tinker Sharp Sword or a target.
Yeah, I think you play BGH as a body, Druid of the Claw with Taunt and Hero Power down the Blood Mage, and you leave it at that. You've seen 2 Eviscerates, 2 SIs, 2 Blade Flurries. The only thing that could come out is a Tinker's, and that gets stopped by Druid of the Claw. And even if there's a Sap, you have Force of Nature with the BGH left over.
Yeah. I'm actually questioning the decision not to play the Big Game Hunter in the last turn. I guess he was afraid of, I'm not sure what, because while Lotheb is drawn, and that might just close out the game.
You want to talk about a top deck. That is, and he gets to play it with a Tinker Sharp Sword. This is insane. Everything is curving out perfectly fine for Firebat. Perfectly fine here for Firebat. This is nuts.
And yeah, Firebat's even playing around BGH here. He doesn't want his Lotheb to get buffed.
Yeah, if it gets buffed, then BGH falls down. Frezzar should have really played that BGH as a body earlier. He would be winning this game. Or he would have at least been in a better position, I feel. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't believe you are wrong, so I'm
Can't
not sure.
me?
Yeah, I guess I can. I'm not really sure what Frezzar can do at this moment. He can build up a few taunts, but that's still going to put him in a very tenuous situation.
Oh man, this actually really, I think this was really close. It came down to the BGH. It's still not over, mind you.
Yeah, actually if both taunts come down,
it could be really tough for Firebat to wipe this board. He needs to find another sprint into a possible Fan of Knives to wipe everything out, but then he gets the kill.
He needs a Sap would also do it here.
Yeah, Sap would be a great top deck here. Given he hasn't found a single one yet, so there's definitely a possibility of that. Let's see what he finds, and he finds the Fan of Knives. That is probably a fairly good one. Giving me a card cycle, can use the 4/1 to kill a Sludge Belcher, and the Lotheb to kill that 4/6. And actually, that's guaranteed lethal, isn't it? No, he needs 2 more damage.
Yeah, he needs just slightly more damage.
Oh man, he needs to find. Oh
so,
wow!
Like we talked about before, there's actually no more direct damage in Firebat's deck.
Actually, if Firebat finds Withering Farce here, he's also safe. Edwin is not it. I think he might lose the game here.
Wow, this game was just so close, but yeah,
he's lost this, yeah.
Frezzar just barely doesn't have enough, or rather, Firebat just barely doesn't have enough to finish it out.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that slime, the game would be Firebat's, but in this case, Frezzar is going to be taking it with combo. Firebat knows he's beat, and he's got to be feeling a little awful about that loss. But then again, you know, that's the way the matchup goes sometimes.
He has like a fairly confused look on his face. He's like, how could I've played this any better? I don't know if I could have.
Yeah, I don't, and honestly, to be honest, like from seeing what we saw, I don't think he could have. The only thing that might have made a difference is not attacking Dr. Boom with your face to get more health overall. Yeah. But then you would have lost the 3/3 on the board.
The other play that you suggested before, by getting that 7 attack dagger, he might have gotten lethal the turn after.
Yeah.
Eviscerate. But I believe like
he was dead to combo then.
Yeah, exactly.
He was dead to combo at that specific point. So ultimately, the play he made was the one that allowed him to possibly win the game. And Frezzar, despite not playing BGH as a body, still squeezed out the win here, dodging the sap.
So you could say that indirectly that Dr. Boom once again won the game because it did that 7 damage to Firebat's face.
It did, honestly, and Dr. Boom is just such a powerful card because you can't afford sapping it even when you have it. I mean, you have to sap it when you see it, especially when it's been innervated because it's not coming out for a few more turns, but even when you do sap it, you know you're just delaying the amount of value the opponent's going to get out of it.
Yeah. So our possibly final match of the day will be Firebat playing the Rogue once again, and Frezzar also bringing his Rogue. So it's going to be a mirror matchup. Now I have to say that Frezzar, when he first came onto the scene, he was basically known for Miracle Rogue. He reached #1 legend on EU with Miracle Rogue, and he was known as one of the best Miracle Rogue players in Europe.
Alright, see, I wasn't aware of his past, his first achievements at all. So I wonder how comfortable he feels with Oil Rogue though. Because that, like, it feels like Miracle, but at the same time, it's also a very different approach where you don't really get the instant cycle through the entire deck.
Yeah, it's certainly slightly different here. And now we see the game is about to start, and Frezzar, going into the game, he has a distinct advantage with the coin in his opening hand. It's funny that in this matchup, like the coin is actually the card that you want the most out of any other cards in your hand.
Yeah, and I mean the hand from Frezzar is otherwise not too shabby either. He's got his Violet Teacher. He's even got a prep right now.
Yeah,
wow.
Violet Teacher and prep is also exactly what you want here.
Oh, hello, Dr. Boom.
Okay, so Dr. Boom is a card that has been seeing a lot of resurgent play in Rogue, mostly because a player named Mr. Yagut has been playing it a lot on stream. And he's kind of like the, like we know Super JJ, Risen, Hyped, but Mr. Yagut is actually the player that most pros go to when they look for Rogue deck lists.
Interesting. I just remember him from Explosive Shot. That's all I remember from Mr. Yagut. He was playing Explosive Shot at BlizzCon, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's my, last and best memory of him, I think.
Yeah, he's playing a very weird hunter. I do remember that.
Alright, so Frezzar has the option of going for the full-on Violet Teacher play right now, but what that does is that it doesn't allow him to get the coin Deadly Poison play that he might want.
Yeah, he's just looking for more value later on. Wow, another preparation. So
that is crazy.
Potentially, so many tokens could be spawned.
Yeah, but there's no more backstab right now, so you can't... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. He's going to be able to kill a Violet Teacher now that he found the second Deadly Poison.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Not only is he going to be able to kill the second Violet Teacher, but look how many 1/1 tokens he's going to be able to summon.
Firebat's going to have to find a Fan of Knives right now with an Eviscerate on the back end that he's got in his hand. Fan of Knives top deck or bust here.
Well, I think Blade Flurry would also work, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like still like 2 cards out of how many? Like 20?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a total of about 4 outs in this deck that he can get. But they would definitely come in handy. A Sap is also not too bad, but... It can't possibly feel amazing.
It's still kind of the exact opposite of what you want, though.
Yeah. Definitely. You could probably backstab Eviscerate if you feel like it.
No, I like this one.
So you force his opponent to waste the dagger on the Loatheb?
You stall yourself out for 1 more turn in order to possibly draw the Fan of Knives or Blade Fillet on the next turn.
The question is whether Frezzar, now that he sees a Sludge Belcher, is going to kill the Loatheb immediately. I think it's a kill on sight regardless. You could Blade Flurry later, but
yeah,
it's fine enough as it is, I feel.
Now that I see the Sludge Belcher in Frezzar's deck, I have to say that this is almost certainly Mr. Yagut's list. Okay. Mr. Yagut, he runs 1 Dr. Boom, 1 Sludge Belcher. He cuts 1 Oil and 1 South Sea Deckhand for those 2 cards.
Alright, so Frezzar still got an Oil in his deck.
Yeah.
Well, Violet Teacher is going to be coming out here definitely with a possible Sap and a backstab, perhaps, to contest the 1/1s, because you can kill 2 with your dagger at total, so that's giving him the ability to contest the board. And when Dr. Boom comes down, though, that's going to be a really rough outcome.
Oh, we see Firebat doing some counting on his fingers, and what that's saying to me is that he's looking for lethal on his opponent in the next few turns. He's counting the damage in his hand currently.
Yeah.
And how much damage is that? How much guaranteed damage is that, first of all? So with the dagger plus the oil buff plus the deadly poison buff, that's,
so that's 6
damage dagger. So the 12 plus the 4 from the Eviscerate is 16.
So he could be getting it if he just finds what he needs, but then again, that Sludge Belcher is going to come down and put a stop to what he wants to do. Although right now, Frezzar, if he plays a Sludge Belcher, doesn't curve out necessarily as amazingly as he wants, right? There's something a bit awkward about that Sludge. I guess that what makes it unawkward is the fact that Dr. Boom follows it.
Yeah, but because you've seen this line of play from Firebat, you might be thinking that he is somewhat close to lethal with the cards that he has in his hand. So Dr. Boom on turn 7 might not actually even be the best play. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, you might have to play for removal. So Frezzar is going to have to evaluate whether he wants to go for a preparation SI trade Blade Flurry. Instead of going for the line of play that we just highlighted. He's gonna go for the Sludge Belcher nonetheless. Alright. Well, Firebat... he finds a pretty solid minion here. Well, solid. He finds a minion. Let's put it that way.
He finds 1 minion.
Yep. And now the big drawback of the Violet Teacher is being highlit by the Stinker's play, because it spawns 1/1s before it buffs anything. And in fact, it buffed the 1/1.
Yeah, slightly unlucky for Firebat, but what can you do? It's, again, like you said, one of the drawbacks of Playing the Vi Teacher in this deck. Oh, wow, look at this. What a great tech card from Frezzar, and that might just close out the game completely.
Yeah, you remove that Tinker Sharpsword Hole from the equation, and you've got nothing to worry about anymore, and Firebat's eyebrows shoot up. Like, wait, what? Oh, no. Good game. So you just dagger up, and you attack into that Vile Teacher, prep, Blade Flurry, and that's going to be a way for you to steal the game. You got Harrison Jones on the board. He's got nothing. You got Lothip to seal the spells. That should be Frezzar's path to victory.
Yeah, and I feel like this is just going to be one of the disadvantages of being a very well-known player is that you get sniped very easily. There's so many games of you out there that your opponent knows exactly what you're going to do, exactly what classes you're going to bring. And I think Frezzar, he planned out the series very well with these tech cards like Harrison Jones, Kazan Mystic, and his decks, just beating out decks like the Freeze Mage and the Rogue. Basically, Firebat's just shut out here. What can he do? He has essentially 0 cards in his hand right now.
The only thing he can find here is if Lothip's not played. If Lothip's not played, which I doubt. I think at this point, Frezzar's best line of play is still Lothip SI, trade with the 1-1 to make sure that he locks down the opponent for sure, and then drops Dr. Boom as a final nail in the coffin. I'd rather see him play Lothip SI than Dr. Boom.
Yeah, I completely agree here. Just it's just a more stable play. And when you're this far ahead, you can afford to be the stable and not take any risks.
Yep, we saw, who was it? I think Dog played it earlier super safely. Firebat is going to lose the game. He threw the first game with his, Freeze Mage versus...